I have been wanting to try speed dating for a minute now. I just turned 26 years old, and like many 26-year-olds, a lot of my dating experiences have been through dating apps. And that's fine. I'm not here to hate on dating apps. They serve a purpose. I've had good experiences, I've had bad experiences. I'm not going to talk about dating apps in this video. But since that's been the majority experience for myself and for a lot of people my age, I've been noticing that myself and the people around me are getting a little bit more restless, a little bit more bored with the dating landscape, and events like speed dating are starting to be more and more appealing.
And I was thinking about this the other day, but I talk all the time about how like beneficial my year of no dating was. And I wonder if it was less my year of no dating and more my year of no dating apps. Like, I wonder if it's just the apps that make me feel like ass.
It for sure is.
Yeah.
I don't know, I feel trapped.
I know.
I think it's safe to say that most of us would prefer to meet someone in person, but I do think that's a lot easier said than done. Number one, it's just easier to meet people online. Most of the people that you will meet out and about are also on dating apps in some capacity. Two, a lot of the places where you can meet people are not like the best places to meet people. I feel like anytime I've said something to the tune of like, oh, I would love to date more in person, date more out and about, and someone says to me like, oh, so you're trying to go to the bar this weekend? Trying to go to the club? I'm like, no, I would rather pass away than do that. So then it's like, okay, maybe we can meet someone at a coffee shop or some kind of event. And like, maybe, but also a lot of people are going to coffee shops head down to be in their work. Sure, you can meet someone anywhere. You could meet someone walking down the street. There's no limits to it, but what are the places that you can go to and almost confirm that you're gonna be able to find at least one person to get a little flirty with? There's just not a lot of options for that. So I think as a result of all of this and many more things, speed dating has become more and more attractive to me, and it's something that I really want to try. So this week, I'm going speed dating for the first time. Before I even get into preparing for, experiencing, and recapping speed dating, let me introduce Dipsea, which is our sponsor for today's video. Audio erotica girlies have the best taste. It is just the facts. It is what it is. I'm so sorry to announce that anyone else is absolutely tasteless. If you've never heard of Dipsea, Dipsea is an audio erotica app full of short, sexy stories designed to turn you on. Make myself a little bedtime beverage, do my skincare, lay in bed, get the lighting just right, light a candle, pull out the vibe, headphones on, audio erotica is playing. The audios on Dipsea bring these stories to life with immersive soundscapes and realistic characters. I've said this before, but I get so sucked in by any story where someone wants to tell me exactly what I'm gonna do and when, and I just sit there like, yes sir. And new content is being released every single week, so yes, you can listen to the same stories over and over again, or you can continue listening to new stories and you'll never ever run out. And for viewers of my channel, Dipsea is offering a free 30-day extended trial to everyone that goes to dipseastories.com/partylikeMaddie. That's 30 days of full access for free when you go to dipseastories.com/partylikeMaddie. Again, that's dipseastories.com/partylikeMaddie. And thank you again to Dipsea for sponsoring today's video. So the tickets go on sale in a few days, and I'm thinking, yeah, it would be fun to do speed dating by myself, but you know what would be more fun is if I did speed dating with the besties. So I posted on my Instagram story this morning just getting some feelers of who might be interested, and lo and behold, exactly people that I thought would be interested are interested. So we've got a little group together and we just need to get the tickets when they go on sale, I guess. Okay, I got 2 tickets. That is not enough for my group of 5. I hope that some of them got some too, because now it is showing up as sold out. That was literally like 30 seconds and the women's tickets are sold out. But let me check with my friends to see if any of the rest of them are on the website and got them. And they did not. Okay, well, so it's just me and Art then. Art and I are going to speed dating. Every time I go on a date, I tell her that I'm looking for her father.
Are you so excited?
No, the camera doesn't even want you to have a father. This is a fatherless household, and we like it that way.
Yeah, mommy's only in this house.
See, the camera focus. Mango's sexist against men, and I love that for her. I mean, you're not really gonna talk to your friends when you're at the event anyway, so it kind of doesn't matter. But I think it would just be fun to go through the experience and try something new with your friends so that you can have like a debrief together and you can talk at the end of the night and be like, oh, this guy was cool. And then somebody else will be like, oh, I talked to him and he said this. And you'll be like, oh, okay. Period. I will steer clear of that one. But on the other hand of things, somebody pointed this out, like, what if we like the same person? I don't think that would happen. I just think that everyone has like a unique enough taste that it would probably not be the same person. I mean, unless everyone there sucks and there's only like 2 good people, then everyone's gonna like the same people. But like, you have different conversations with different people. Also, like, it's a 4-minute date. I don't know that I'm gonna be that certain of anyone after a 4-minute date. I would be very shocked and concerned if I was. So, I'm sure we'll be okay. I actually mentioned to my therapist like a year ago that I wanted to try speed dating, but that I felt like it was just hard to find an event where you felt confident you'd at least meet a few people that you might have a possibility of liking. I don't know, maybe I'm just like very online, but a lot of times the marketing for speed dating events feels a little old. And then you go to the websites for some of these speed dating events and they look like they were built in 2003, and like, I'm sorry, that does put me off of an event. If your website looks like it was built before YouTube came out, like, I'm not sure that I'm totally confident in the group of people that are going to this event. I'm sorry. But when I brought this up with my therapist last year, she was telling me about how pre-pandemic, the Strand bookstore in New York used to do speed dating events pre-pandemic. And I was like, damn it. That would have been perfect. Like, that's what I mean when I say a lot of these speed dating events, I look at the marketing, the promo, the website for it, and I'm just not convinced that I'm gonna meet my person at those events. I'm not sure that the way these events are being marketed and promoted is going to attract the type of people that I'm interested in. / they're just too broad. Like, they're capturing too wide of a net. But like an event like that where it's like the Strand bookstore hosting a speed dating event, you'd get a bunch of little book nerds, the quiet cuties that like to stay home on the weekend. Like, that would have been perfect. But they don't do it anymore. So anyways, this has been in the back of my mind for quite some time now. So I was scrolling on Instagram a few weeks ago and I stumbled across a post that was shared out by someone I know from an account called We Met IRL. And they throw speed dating events in New York City. So I took a look at the page, took a look at the photos, some of the content they were making, promoting their events, and I got the right vibe from it. I thought that it sounded incredible. So I was like, I feel good about this one. I think I'm gonna try this one. And here we are. Time to decide what the fuck I'm wearing on this date. Luckily for me, where did I put it? My new leave for the month came in this morning. So I'm hoping that one of the dresses that I picked out for this month could be sort of the perfect first date sort of vibe. First one I got is like this really gross lime green dress. It's very cute, but it's gross. Let's be honest, it's a disgusting color. But the other 2 dresses, and these are the ones that I think could be a move for tonight. First up, we have this 2-tone dress. It's got like a bow over the titties, and then it's all brown on the bottom and sort of flares out at the end. So sad news about this dress is that she's not gonna zip up. And then we have this dress, which I love the colors of. I think it's so cute. I will absolutely wear a harness with this. All right, I just threw one of my harnesses on so you could see the difference. But I think this already makes a big difference. Defines my waist, shows off the yitties. I think this looks a lot better already. Can I just say, women are so beautiful. Talking to you, bestie. Like, here I am spending like 2.5 hours on my appearance before I go out somewhere, which I think is a beautiful thing. I don't look at that and think like, I'm gonna spend 3 hours getting all dressed up to go sit across the table from some guy who literally just walked out of his apartment, of his office, and showed up there. I don't feel mad that I spend 3 hours doing all this because I look beautiful and gorgeous. and it's fun and it's creative and I love it. But I wish that men would also spend 3 hours doing this. I would love that too. Anyways, I'm really interested to see how this whole thing sort of goes. As we know, the women's tickets sold out in like a mere 20 seconds when they went on sale 2 weeks ago. And when I checked this morning, there were still men's tickets available for this event, which is really fucking funny and perfectly highlights the problem with dating right now. But I'm interested like how they're gonna combat that. Cause like, what, are there gonna be people just like sitting without anyone to talk to? Like granted, the rounds are only like 5 minutes, but still, like if you pay for a ticket to go to a speed dating event and then you're like sitting silently for some of the rounds because there's not enough people, like that kind of sucks. I feel for them though. I imagine it's hard to run speed dating events and find the right people. So honestly, I'm not feeling nervous at all. Anyways, I'm really not planning on being the love of my life tonight, so I'm not that concerned. Honestly, I think these are perfect, especially because of the slit in the side, so you can actually see them. Beautiful, gorgeous. Beautiful and gorgeous. Like, come on. Come on. This is a lot, but it's so me. I don't know how much I'm gonna be able to film in there, so we'll see what happens, and I will talk to you guys in a second. Making it through our first speed dating event. Let me tell you absolutely everything. So I get there a little early so that I'm able to mingle, open up the floor with a few people before we actually get things going. I got there before Art did, so I had absolutely no one to lean on for support. I just went right in and started raw dogging those conversations, which is so unlike me. I can't emphasize enough how truly out of my comfort zone that was. So then we get to the actual dating part of things. All the ladies go find a seat and the men come in 4-minute intervals, stop with each person, have the date, keep things moving. They did have some questions on the table on a little card. Now, my assumption before getting to this event was that they were gonna have like a question that was posed to everyone before each round, so that way you could sort of avoid small talk and not have the same conversation over and over of like, oh, this is your first time speed dating, what do you do for work? And just get sucked into that conversation 12 times over. How many fucking people were there? They didn't do that, but they did leave print out questions on each of the tables. There were like 5 or 6 of them. I'll be so real, the questions were not great. I did not use any of the questions that they had written. I believe one of the questions on the card was like, what's your least favorite subway line? So it's like not the best conversation starter. But in general, I felt like all of the conversations I had were not very small talky. They were all interesting in their own regard. That does not mean they were all good, but they were all interesting. Now let me get into the dates themselves. Shall we? I want to say we probably went on like 12 dates in total. There was more women than there were men, so there were 2 rounds where you had nobody sitting at your table, which I would have thought would be a bad thing, but to be totally honest, it was kind of nice to have a little bit of a break here and there. So the first guy sits down, we have a great conversation. Off bat, there is a vibe there. We're joking, we're laughing. But the thing about being the first person of the night is by the end of the night, I am not gonna remember your fucking name. It doesn't matter how great of a conversation we had, because I felt like with the first guy, I had a great conversation with him. I can remember what he looked like at the end of the night, but I had no idea what his name was, which it is gonna prove to be a problem when you have to fill out the survey and write down like your 3 top people that you're interested in. You can't remember their name. So afterwards, during like the mingling post speed dating part, I was gonna go up to him, but he left. He like sprinted out of there. He zooted. I don't know if he was nervous or maybe he had somewhere to be, I don't know. But my advice to anybody going to a speed dating event is hang around afterwards and have conversations with people, because when you're meeting people that quickly, it's possible that people are gonna forget your name, particularly the people that you dated earlier on in the night, and maybe they would like to have a conversation with you and get your number. I would have loved to have asked him for his number, but he left. So first guy was great, started the tone off right. Second guy, it was totally fine. We were not a match. I think we immediately got onto the topic of podcasts and like, what is your favorite podcast? What are you listening to the most? And as I'm listing off some of my favorite podcasts, he is not liking my answers. Fair enough. But you know, now we have to sit here for an additional 3 minutes and stare at each other. So we got through it, but it was clear we had very different interests. Most of the ones in the middle, I want to say, were pretty forgettable for me. Not that we had bad conversations, just that I don't know that there was like a click there necessarily.
There was a few like absolute wild cards. There was one guy who said, "That's so gay," in the middle of our conversation, and I truly have never been more shocked in my life. And then there was another guy that asked me what I did for work, and when I told him I was a YouTuber, he said, "I hate YouTube." It was just so funny, objectively. Hats off to you. And then there was another guy that the first thing he said to me was a comment about my harness and my chest, which there's always one, isn't there? So there were definitely some wild cards.
So then we're getting into things, we're getting moving. I have a couple really great dates. Probably only one that I was genuinely interested in, but a few great little connections that I was open to at least having another conversation with. So anyways, we get to the end of the night. We have to fill out a survey with our thoughts on the night and our 3 people that we are the most interested in pursuing afterwards. After we fill the survey, everyone sticks around, or most people stick around, mingle. I ended up swapping numbers with the people that I was most interested in anyways, and I actually ended up going to another bar with a few of the people that I met during speed dating, and I was out pretty late. It was fun. I'm glad I stayed out, because I learned very quickly that the people that I stayed out with were not people that I ever wanted to hang out with again. And to be honest, I kind of liked that. I liked that I could meet someone, sort of have an interest in them, spend a little more time with them, and figure out they're not for me, all in a matter of a few hours. It's a commitment, but in the grand scheme of things, it's actually a much lower stakes commitment. Yes, it is a higher commitment to decide you're gonna go to a speed dating event, buy the ticket, set aside a few hours of your night to go date in person versus swiping on a dating app. But despite that being a higher investment initially, you actually get your answer so much quicker versus if I matched with this guy on a dating app, we spent a week talking in the app, 2 weeks talking in the app just to meet in person. And maybe I find out that same night that he's not for me, or maybe it takes another night. I don't know. It's still much longer than the cycle of realizing this wasn't for me at a speed dating event. So I liked it. I was like, okay, this is interesting, because I got to have that same experience of like quickly meeting someone, having like an initial attraction, and then immediately hanging out with them afterwards and learning that it was not gonna be a match. And like, listen, I didn't go to this speed dating event thinking that it was gonna be like, well, that's it. We went once and now I'm in love and I'm done with dating now. My goal of going to this was just to get out of my comfort zone a little bit, to try something new, and to sort of shake myself a little bit into recognizing that like I can flirt with people in person. I can do in-person dating, and like it's not as scary as I think it's gonna be. I think that like my social anxiety stops me from doing a lot of like the in-person dating that I would want to do. And I've leaned on dating apps a lot because it is way easier as an anxious person to have the like affirmation that someone thinks you're physically attractive before hitting on them. It's so nerve-wracking to like not know how someone's gonna react to you before flirting with them a little bit. And I don't know if it's necessarily like the physical affirmation that I need, because obviously I didn't have physical affirmation going into this event, but I knew that everyone was at least open-minded to dating. So it's like, maybe it's like, it's just you need like a little bit of some affirmation of some kind, right? I think it's hard to like just go to a coffee shop and flirt with someone, because it's like, well, what if they don't want to be spoken to? What if they don't want to be flirted with? Like it's hard when you're not in spaces where you've been given like a thumbs up of some kind, whether it is a thumbs up of like, yeah, we're all here looking to date, we're open-minded in the dating world, or thumbs up, I think you're attractive on a dating app. So it's not totally apples to apples, right? But I do think that it did give me a little bit of a confidence boost of like, you can get out of your comfort zone. Like, you are more capable than you think you are. Life is way less scary than you seem to think it is. All right, so final thoughts, final reflections. What are we thinking? What are we feeling? Did I like speed dating? Would I do it again? In short, yes. I absolutely would do it again. I think that overall I had a really fun time. Obviously there's gonna be hits and misses in any dating pool, but I'd say for the most part, the majority of people there were really kind, very interesting, had a few hours of good conversation, and ultimately really enjoyed myself. I think that We Met IRL does a great job of putting on these events. I'm definitely interested to see how they develop and evolve over time, so I'll for sure be going back in the future. I mean, I think more than anything, my main takeaway from this is just that I think there is value in diversifying the ways that you date. I'm never going to be anti-dating app because I do see value in the dating app space. And listen, you guys know me, especially if you listen to the podcast, I have many critiques for dating apps, but I also have positive things to say as well. So as much as you might want me to be anti-dating app, I'm just not going to be. But I do think it's a positive thing to diversify the ways that you are dating and the ways that you are engaging in putting yourself out there. I think one of my main takeaways was just how differently it feels. I think a lot of times on the apps, because there's more distance between you and the person, and oftentimes getting to the first meeting is over a longer period of time, there's more space to project expectations or get your hopes up that someone's gonna be as cool as they are over text in person. And ultimately, I think there is more room for disappointment earlier on in the dating app world, because you can get a little bit emotionally invested before even meeting each other, which is like sort of the name of the game. So there is a benefit to meeting someone in person first, having all of your interactions be face-to-face. So there's really no room to project any of your expectations or wants onto this person. There's really no room for you to like even think at all, because it's all happening in the span of 4 minutes. So I think if you're looking to be on your toes a little bit, to get out of your head a little bit, I would actually really recommend speed dating. So anyways, pros and cons to both. My goal here was not to compare the two, but rather just to experience another way of dating. And I think my main takeaway here is just that I would like to incorporate this method of dating into my typical dating habits moving forward. So with that, I will leave the links to We Met IRL down in the description. So if you're in New York City and you're looking to try out speed dating, you can go check them out. If you want more of me, I do have a podcast called Emotionally Online that I do every single week. And you can also follow me on my Instagram, which is at Maddie Dragsbaek. I love you guys so much. Thank you so much for watching, and I will see you in my next video. Bye.